I didn't crash. Hopefully we have sound. All right. I don't think I'm going to get to the pantry. Let's see. Comments. Let's make sure it's going on Rumble. There we go. Do we have sound? All right, we've got sound. Good grief. Sound seems very loud. That was crazy. And I still don't have a chat. Where is the chat? Okay, anyway, if you see a chat me so I know that you can hear me and it's not just me hearing me. I think it's okay now. Let me see if the chat's up here. Let me turn this down a little bit. I don't think we're going to get to the pantry because we're having so many dang tech issues. There we go. If you can hear me, let me know. Let's try this again. Make sure we're all on. I'm sorry to have tech issues right up front. That's so frustrating to me. Live streaming. Go to this one. And I have no chat section. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with Rumble that the chat has like totally disappeared. Emaine, that's sweet. Where are you watching from? Are you watching from YouTube? I'm on. I see that I'm on. Desktop site. Let's see if that shows us the chat. It's just gone. I don't know. Maybe there's some issue with the YouTube, with the Rumble chat. I can hear me on Rumble, so I'm going to assume you can hear me. So because I've farted around with this for so long, make sure we still have sound. And we do. Okay. I don't know where the chat is. If you guys see the chat from Rumble, go ahead and chat me up. If not, I'm just going to kind of tell you what happened. And we'll keep it short today, and then I'll try to sort out the tech issues. So I'm going to take the other ones down, so I'm going to start from the beginning. So over the summer, I had to have a cardiac ablation. Yeah, I do. I don't normally, but I do normally, but then I've been off forever because of this, and I'll explain this to you. So I used to go live twice a week, but in July I had a heart procedure done that I had a lot of complications from, and it took me a long time to recover from that. And then I was going to come back to doing lives, but found out I had to have my tonsils out, and I was having severe voice issues. Like I could talk for 10 minutes and then I would be so hoarse you could hardly understand me. And so went to the ENT, and they were going to send me to a guy at UK that specializes in vocal cord dysfunction. Well, it occurred to me, like while I was waiting for that appointment, that the nerves from the vocal cord, nerves from everything, run from the spine. But when I got beat up by that patient years ago, if you've watched my lives, you know the story. I had two discs that were completely blown apart at C5-6, C6-7, and that's where the nerves for the vocal cords come out. So it occurred to me, hey, maybe that is related. Maybe one's being caused by the other. And I think where I had to have a shoulder surgery and then the heart procedure, so a couple intubations, and that kind of messes with things. And so I decided while I was waiting for that appointment, I would go and see the chiropractor. I went and saw him. And before I left that day, my voice was stronger. And after each appointment, my voice was stronger and stronger. And so I think we figured that out. I didn't end up even going to the vocal cord specialist. Went back to the ENT, and my tonsils needed to come out. And so I thought, well, I'm not going to start back up with live streams because now I've got to have my tonsils out. So I waited for that, had some testing I had to have done before, which took time, of course. So December 2nd, I had my tonsils out. And it was horrible. I'm telling you, as an adult, it is the worst surgery I've had done. And I've had it hysterectomy. I've had 3 C-sections. My uterus ruptured while I was in labor with my third child. Um, I've had spinal headaches, which if you've ever had a spinal headache, they're debilitating. You can't even walk because the spinal fluid, it's usually because of a hole, the spinal fluid is draining out as you're standing up and your brain sits on your skull and it's excruciating. And so you have to like walk sideways till you can get laid down. And hopefully that's only going to take a minute because you're in blinding pain. It wasn't that bad, but it was second to that. So, the pain management is horrible. You get I don't know if this is just a Kentucky thing, but they will only now send you home with the lowest dose of whatever pain medicine it is, and only for 3 days, even though they tell you that you're going to be in excruciating pain for 14, and they want you to take NSAIDs like ibuprofen. Well, I'm allergic to those, and they knew that going in. And I said, we're going to need some other plan because, I'm worried that 3 days of pain medicine won't be enough, considering how excruciating you're telling me this is going to be. And of course, they don't tell you that you're only going to get 3 days of pain medication. You can't even get a refill, and it's like the lowest dose. Like I just was amazed. And having been in so many comas, I have been on lots of like sedating kinds of meds. So I have a really high tolerance. And I was just miserable. And so the first pain medicine they sent me home was one that was in my chart that I was allergic to. And so luckily I caught that in my post anesthesia state and didn't take it. So I called them and I'm like, hey, I'm allergic to that. It's in my chart. Like, why, I need something else. So they call in something else. We get that. And I'm miserable, but I'm doing okay. I'm able to drink little bits and, just had 2 big bleeds. I think had I not been a nurse, I would have ended up back in the hospital at that point. Like lost a cup of blood. It was just pouring out. But I iced my neck and was able to get it started. And then the next day I had a smaller bleed. It's like a quarter cup. And had I not been a nurse, knowing I could handle it, knowing like what it feels like when you need blood, I felt like I could manage that at home okay. And I did okay. But I let the doctor know what was going on. And so then I had, on day 6, I woke up and I couldn't open my mouth, like that far. Like I couldn't even get one of my larger pills in. And I was scared to take anything that I might choke on because my jaw was locked. So then what do? Because you're choking to death on this thing and your jaw's locked shut. So I messaged the doctor and I'm like, hey, I can't open my mouth. And he's like, it's totally normal. Just use heat. And I'm like, it's excruciating because like the muscles in your jaw, you have no idea. Like if you have true lockjaw, if they try to like pry your mouth open, it will not open. They have to like completely knock you out. So anyways, like just moist heat. So I'm doing that. That's day 6. Day 8, I message him again because now I've got fever, 102. When they had called to check on me, I was running a fever and it was like 102.5. And I said, well, when should I like go to the emergency room or come in and be seen? And the lady's like, what's your temperature at? And I said 102, whatever it was. And she's like, when it gets to 103. Like it felt like no matter what number I had given her, she'd been like a little higher. So, and I don't know if that's a medical person that was calling or not, because I was kind of out of it at that point. So now day 8, I can't get my mouth open. It's just they're telling me it's going to get better. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. Day 14, which would be December 16th, I go in for my follow-up appointment post-op. And I see the doctor. And I said, I had 102 temperature this morning. He said, well, it's fine now. And I said, right, because I took Tylenol because I didn't, and I'd already told them that, because I didn't think it would be wise to drive with 102 temperature. And he basically just like poo-poos the whole thing. And I said, can you use that scope? And they've got a little scope. They can go down your nose and they can look into your throat, because he couldn't really look in my mouth. And I asked him 3 times, I'm like, can you do that and look back there? Because I've had so much bleeding and I just want to be sure there's not something going on in there that might be causing this. And he just like pretended I didn't say it and just smiled and kept backing up. And it was the weirdest thing. It was almost like, you know how like somebody who's losing their hearing and they just kind of smile and nod. But like, if you know, they don't, you'd think they were hearing you if you didn't know better, but they're just smiling. And that's what it felt like. So he's backing up, and there's like some intern in there with him that I'd never seen before. And she's kind of looking at him weird. I'm looking at him weird. And he just, hopefully that's on a, we didn't lose our connection, did we? If you're still there, give me a wave so I know you're still there. It looks like I've still got people watching. So he just keeps backing up. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to ask him like real directly. And I'm like, would you please use that scope and go down my nose and look at my throat and make sure that there's not something in there causing this lockjaw. And he says, well, it was good to see you. If you have any problems, just call back and let us know. And put a note in the chart for your family doctor, and you have a good day. It just walks out. Like, what the heck? So I go home. That's Monday. I can't remember if it was that day or the next day. I go to the chiropractor, and I'm like, I'm going to see if he can help. So he takes, if you've ever been in the chiropractor, they've got that little pen thingy that'll adjust you. So I was telling him about my jaw, and I'm like, can you see? And he's like, you've got no lateral sideways movement.